Good morning, and welcome back to Daily Dhamma, a letter to our children. Today is May 3rd, and our reading is Different Languages. The prolonged absence of any free exchange of information within a country opens up a gulf of incomprehension between whole groups of the population, between millions and millions. We simply cease to be a single people, for we speak, indeed, different languages. And that's Alexander Solzhenitsyn from the Gulag Archipelago, Volume 3. There's something about the writing of people persecuted for their beliefs. One reason we admire characters like Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Viktor Frankl, Václav Havel, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and Aung San Suu Kyi is that we recognize the courage it takes for someone living in the teeth of tyranny to speak on behalf of liberty. It's also why we recoil from someone living in freedom who advocates controlling others, censorship, and despotism. The Buddha said to speak the language of the heart. We told you there were a lot of birthdays in the spring. I don't know what got up to people back in the late summer and early fall, but something good, I guess. Anyway, buddy, we won't mention you, embarrass you by putting you on the tube, but happy birthday to you. That's quite an accomplishment. A quarter century is something I can only aspire to. So thank you for being in our life, and you're one person that we do know who speaks the language of the heart. So thanks for being along with us. And now back to Alexander Solzhenitsyn. He knew something about Pravda and TASS and misinformation and approved information and propaganda and all of that stuff. You know, when we've divided ourselves along so many different lines, one place that we should not be divided is upon the nature of truth. I know. Truth depends on your point of view, and it's just not I have my truth and you have your truth and all of that other postmodern claptrap. We're not buying it. There are things that are true, that are eternally true, and there are things that are false, and it doesn't matter how much lipstick you put on that pig, it's still a lie. And the propaganda machine that operates around the world 24/7 these days is doing its best to erase what we consider to be that truth. But it only works if we allow it to work. So let's get together on that, huh? There is a need in any group to have unity of purpose. Now, it doesn't have to be completely monolithic. You can have people who differ and like some people like chocolate and some people don't, and like that. But if you have people at daggers drawn in their view of the world, in the axioms that shape their philosophy of life, then you are inviting into your tent a world of conflict and chaos. The great moral issues of our day are not substantially different from what they were in the time of King David or the time of Ugg in the cave. How do we treat other people? Let's see to that. So happy trails to you until we meet again.